Welcome to Glorious Globes. Soften the knees, spread the feet. Allow the arms to come forwards, up and down towards you, creating circular motion. I'll show you on the diagonal. We're on the wheel plane. We'll go the other way, so up the body, out, down, let that settle. We now have movement through a vertical plane. So the arms come up. Again, spread the feet, soften the knees, and we circle. Now we'll circle in the opposite direction, but we're still in the same plane. The arms come down, table level. So this is our third plane. Soften the knees, spread the feet, and we're circling on this plane. Change the direction. You let that settle. We have 3 planes of movement. We also have 3 globes or spheres. So the head, the rib cage, and the pelvis. We're going to start with a flow for the rib cage globe. So the rib cage wraps around to give that sense of sphere. And we start with some free movement for the shoulders. We take a reach up. Reach more with the left, then the right, left and right. The arms come down, making 90-degree angles-ish. The left leg then comes back and we push the heart forward. Keep these bent arms. Then bring them to the front. The back leg hops in a teeny bit so that we can push and pull And in the rib cage, we have the heart. In the heart, the oxygenated, the push blood, and the deoxygenation of blood coming back. We now bring the hands to the heart. The back leg, we just come onto the ball of the foot in a position that's comfortable for you. You can stay with the hands at the front in prayer, or they could come to the back. Whichever one, lift up through the heart. We release, come back in, hands return to the heart. So where your thumbs are, in the middle of the breastbone here, you have an acupressure point, a key one in this globe, central pelvis. And we take an in-breath, hands, arms up, out breath, down. We're going to lace the fingers behind, lengthen through and bring the heart forwards. And this acupressure point. You release and come to the other side. So free movement of shoulders. Reaching arms up, right arm, left, right, left. Bend the arms. The right leg comes back. Bring the heart through. And then the arms come in front. The back leg comes in a little bit. And we push and draw back. From here, hands in prayer, connecting with the breastbone. The back leg turns. You come onto the ball of the foot, so adjust the leg to suit that. You can stay here, or you might want to bring prayer hands to the back, whichever. Lift through the heart. Then releasing, coming back to parallel. Prayer hands connecting into central pelvis acupressure point. In breath, out breath, linking, drawing arms back, which brings the heart forwards. And release. Taking a hand to the back of the neck and to the lower back. So these are spaces coming up from the rib cage and down from the rib cage, connecting head and pelvis. We're coming to the head globe now, and we're going to press. It can be lightly or firmly. Have a sense of the globe shape. A key acupressure point here is yin tang, balancing the yin and yang. So prayer hands and the thumbs are coming between the eyebrows. We lace the fingers. They come back behind the head, elbows forwards, feeling the weight of the head. We come back. We wrap the left arm around the head. We take it to the side. We come back. We release the arm. We have some spinal rotations. Soften through the knees and let the nose twist you round to the left. Come back. Let the left shoulder twist you round. Come back. This time, let the pelvis twist you round. You might notice you go further each time and come back. Right arm. Feeling the weight. Coming back, releasing. And the nose leads the rotation. And back. The shoulder will come probably a little further round and back. And then the pelvis. Soften through the knees, soft fists, and giving the pelvic sphere, globe, some stimulation. And then we connect into a key acupressure point within this globe. So below the navel, it's about 3 fingers width below. It's called C of Qi. So obviously supporting the Qi, the energy of the body. From here, we have a flow. We soften the knees and we circle to the left. We take a pause. We take the arms now up in parallel. We bend the knees to create our chair. We come back, hands back to C of Qi. Then we take the left leg back. You could stay there, or you could bring it into a deeper balance. From whatever balance, take the leg back. Bring the arms up. Then the arms come down. A little rotation, and we're pushing and back. So the fluid that's key in the pelvis, excluding the bladder, the womb, is the chyme and the small intestine. So creating a fluid movement. Then we turn back We're going to take the back heel off. We bend down. We reach back up. Then the back foot starts to come down only a tiny bit. The left arm is going to come down. And you're trying to come into a twisted lunge. The top hand comes down, the back leg comes in. Take the hands to the elbows, into a forward fold. You've inverted the globes, so the pelvis is now uppermost and the head lowermost. Soften through the knees, bring the pelvis forwards and come up, release arms. And we'll do that on the other side. So about 3 fingers width down from the navel. Sea of Qi, soften the knees. And circles to the right. From here into the chair. Back to Sea of Qi. The right leg then comes behind. You might stay with the toes connected. You might take them off. It might be a small balance. It might be a big one. And then we lower, bring the arms up. They come down to the front. And we have the pushes. Sense of the chime fluid in the small intestine. This time, as you come forwards, we turn, we take the back heel off. We have a lunge. The right arm then starts to come down. You'll notice that the back leg lengthens. You may be able to get the hands onto the floor, or you might need a block, and we have a twisted lunge. From here, the other hand comes down. We step in. We clasp elbows. We softly bend through the knees and bring the pelvis forwards. And come up. Releasing the arms. We're now going to transition down to hands and knees. I will adjust my camera and have a drink, and I'll meet you there. We're returning to the planes of movement that we started with. So the one that's in the horizontal, it's like drawing a coffee table, the top of it. So really doesn't matter which way you circle first, but you're keeping it all flat. You're shifting weight and drawing a circular coffee table. Then in the other direction. We take a pause. For the vertical plane, it's going to be like drawing a port hole. So a window that's circular. To do this, we bring the rib cage to the left. It's going to come up, right and down. Then we'll change the direction. And pause. Our third plane, the wheel takes us up and down, forwards and back. So we're going to start by arcing up. We're going to take that forwards. We're going to bring it down by bending the elbows. And then by lengthening the elbows and cat arcing, we'll bring it up. The next time that we're up, we're going to reverse it. So we're going to push back. We bend the elbows. The chest comes through and up. We take a pause. You may need to shake out your hands, your wrists here. And now we have a flow with emphasis given to the rib cage globe. So hands forwards. We bring this globe through. It changes the organization of the other two globes. We then come back. So it's either a high or a low kneeling position. Whatever suits you, I'll go with a high one. We are linking the elbows. We're going to bring the pelvis forwards and arc. We release. The left leg then comes through into pigeon and the rib cage reaches forwards. We come back. We curl the toes under and we come into a downward facing dog. Just step the feet in a little bit so the feet can come flat. We're then taking the right hand across, and this will twist you to that left side. We find our way out and down. From here, we come onto the lower arms. We are taking the left leg back. And just slide it back until you're comfortable. Some of you might be able to take the right leg as well and straighten out into this low plank where the rib cage, the head and the pelvis have a more linear connection. And then we come out, take a pause while I turn around, do it all on the other side. So from here, we have this reach forward, we bring the rib cage through, see how that affects the head, the pelvis. We come back. So high kneeling, it's probably easiest to do it this way, connecting the elbows. Then the pelvis comes forwards, and this will also open up the rib cage. Hands down, right leg through. Back into downward facing dog. Bring the hand, bring the feet in, or even the hands. You could go that way, bring the hands in, whatever makes the space smaller, so that you can bring your left hand to the outside of the right leg, which creates a twist. We find our way out of this. Adopt a lower arm support position. We take the right leg this time. It comes back. So you might choose to stay here. You might bring the other leg so you have the plank. The sense of the head, the rib cage, the pelvis, 3 globes, connected by neck and lower back, and soften down. So we're staying lower here. We're going to bring the palms flat. We are bending the elbows and the crown of the head comes down. We circle the pelvis, and this will also circle the head because the 3 globes are connected via the spine at the neck, through the rib cage, the lower back, and through the pelvis. Circle the other way. Then we come into a high child forehead, yin tang acupressure point. We're going to use now the pelvis again. If we push it forward, you'll roll onto the crown. If you pull it back, you'll come back to yin tang. The next time that you're on your forehead, take a pause. We're going to lift the head, bring the arms a little bit closer together, place the fingers. See if you can bring yin tang onto your hands. Then the toes curl under. You have some options. You can rock here. You might take the knees off a little. You might take them a lot and come into your dolphin rock. Whichever one you're in, soften out. We come back to hands and knees for our last flow at this level, which will connect us with the pelvis. And I need to just move across so that my limbs stay within the camera. So we are taking the pelvis to the right. We have some circles there. We have a pause. The toes curl under. The hands come back. We're taking the knees outside the arms or elbows, so you might need to slide the hands to adjust, and then we're bringing them in. So out, in, out, and in. In will bring us back. We are taking the right leg up into our tiger. It's then bending and turning, bringing the foot flat down. Take one hand on the pelvis and then hopefully the other. You'll lose my head, but here we are circling the hips. So in one direction and then in the other direction. The hands come down. This upper leg then turns, the leg is straight, fingers and toes pointing in the same direction. You're coming down to your lower arms. The leg that's extended comes in. We bring the big toes together. We take the knees out wide. We're coming back for a high child, and we're going to place, if it's available, prayer hands on the top of the head. If it's uncomfortable, then adapt this child position to suit yourself. You can come to parallel legs, and obviously you don't need to have prayer hands on the head. For some of you, then the arms might possibly really extend forwards. You might be able to bring the chest and the chin down, and you might even be able to do the prayer hands here. Whichever one you're now in, just find your release out. I'm going to change direction so we can do it on the other side. So we start with the pelvis, circling now the left. We then have the toes curled under, the hands come back. We have the knees outside and inside. And you'll find you might need to adjust during this. The next time the knees are inside, we come to our tiger. From tiger, we turn and place. We come up, you will lose my head. We're going to circle one way, then the other way. Hands come down. We extend the leg. Toes in the same direction as fingers. Down to the lower arms. Then the extended leg comes in. The toes come together unless you want to stay in parallel. That's the big toes connect. We can come back high or low. The last time I did the high one. So you do the one that suits you, possibly prayer hands. And then for those that want it, the hands slide forwards. We come down. And possibly prayer hands. Whichever one you're in, just find your way out and onto your front. Landing here on the front of your body, the front surface, yin tang connecting to the hands. Bring the chin a little more to the chest area and release, and find a nod. Let that settle. Then roll the head from one side through yin tang and to the other side. Both your central palace and the breastbone and Sia Ki are being pressed into the earth. Take a pause. Come to curl the toes under. Take the kneecaps off. And then start to rock through the feet. You'll notice that it creates a rock all the way up to the head. Again, the head is connected via the spine to the ribcage, to the pelvis, and the legs connect into the pelvis. So, moving the legs like this will affect the head. And release. We're taking the palms now down, the elbows up. We're turning to the left, so we're on the right cheek. Here, we are circling the left shoulder rib cage at the top of this globe, Change direction. Take a pause, and then we'll turn to the other cheek and circle the other elbow, shoulder blade that connects into the rib cage. Then the other way. Pause. Let the head now lengthen from the neck, so it lifts off the mat a small amount. Bring the hands underneath the hip bones, they become wings, and just let them lift up and down. So focus to the back of the rib cage. The front is connected to the earth. Then the hands slide out. We need to draw in the pelvic floor, the abdominal muscles, the gluteus muscles, and then we lift the rib cage up and down, up and down, up and down. And then finishing with our Sphinx or Cobra. Let the rib cage have a side-to-side movement, and then start to pulse it forwards and back. Coming down, the pelvic globe, we're starting, resting the head and letting the pelvic globe just rock side to side. That settles. We let the legs slide, one and then the other. Feel the pelvis moving because the legs are connected in to this globe. Take a pause. Choose a leg, let it bend. And then lift off and down. Feel again the leg pelvic connection. You might feel the pelvis quite strongly on this side. Lower and change to the other. So this final leg, keep it bent. Let the knee move out to the edge of the mat. Let the other knee move out. We have both legs bent. The soles of the feet together. So the right foot slides down, the left inner leg, the head comes to the right and back. Then the left comes down the inside of the right and the head comes to the left. So we are spinal twisting. The focus is quite strong for the pelvis, even though the rib cage and the head are both involved. The next time you come through center, bring the knees back to parallel and gently lower one leg and then the other leg. From here, we're coming into a side position. The knees are bent. We're taking the upper arm, cradling the head, but it's very light touch. The power of the movement will come from the abdominal muscles, the gluteus muscles. So we're bringing the head globe up. We're bringing the lower legs. This pushes the rib cage down and lifts up the pelvis and back. So in your own rhythm, feel the relationship between the three globes. Then we'll slide our way up to semi-sitting. Here, we're going to connect with the neck, have a squeeze. So this is our space between the head and the rib cage. We're then rubbing the lower back, the spacer between the rib cage and the pelvis. So the bones of the spine will run through the rib cage, the pelvis, and the head sits like a very large vertebra on the top. So we're going to make our way up. We're going to swing the feet round and gently comes down the other side. So we can do it once more. So I don't have room to greatly lengthen that arm out there, so I'm just tucking it behind. We have a light cradle. We draw in the pelvic floor, the abdominal, the gluteus muscles, and we find our movement where we compress the globes towards each other and release. So make this your last one. We're going to come out and transition to semi-sitting. This time we'll start with the lower back, the rub, leaving the space between the lower back and the rib cage. And we give the neck a rub as well. You might even prefer to squeeze. And then we'll find our way back up. So a comfortable sitting position. So your legs could be long, they could be crossed, whatever feels appropriate for you. Relaxed arms. We're back to the planes again. So we're starting with the table. We're going to, on the horizontal plane, we're going to come back, side, front, side. So we're staying at this horizontal level, and then we go the other way. We take a pause. For the vertical plane, we are going to the left. We're lifting up over to the right and down. So we're drawing a porthole, and then we change direction. The other side down, the other side up. We take a pause. For the wheel plane, we have the extended butterfly, and we are going to lift up first. We're going to come forwards. We're going to come down and back at the same time. So lift, forwards, down, back. Lift, forwards, down, and back. Let this stop here. To reverse it, we're going to bring the heart down and forwards and lift it up. We then draw it back, down, forwards, lift, up, down, back. And then take a pause. We're going to have from here the left leg in front. So crossed, it might be high knees, it might be low knees. But if that's not comfortable, you could have the other leg extended. See what suits you. And so this is for the ribcage. We're arcing over. We push up. We lace the fingers. They come up and we pulse back. With these, we're now going to draw figure 8. So we're moving towards the left. One circle and then the other circle. So obviously there's a twist in it to draw. And this figure 8 is horizontal, so it's on its side. Then we're turning to the left leg to twist. As we turn back, the left knee comes up, the foot's down, the left arm comes inside. You can push the arm and the leg against each other for stability, and an open twist. We're trying to keep both hip bones grounded. We come back, we let the legs extend into the fan here, and we open on that diagonal. So the left arm, left leg down, the right arm high diagonal, and then from here we arc it over. We come back. I'm now going to reverse. So we're going to come the other side. I'm going to bend in. The right leg is going to be in front. We are having an open twist first. For the closed twist, we come back. This leg comes down and we twist towards it. We turn, we lace the fingers, they're coming up, figure of 8 to the right. You can see how much that mobilizes, or feel how much that mobilizes the shoulders. We pulse back, and then we arc over. So our head, globe, yin tang, lacing fingers behind, feel the weight. Come back immediately into a side arc and back. The nose is rotating us round and back. The shoulder rotating and back. Then for the hip, we take the right arm, we, if it's comfortable, interlace, try and connect it with the hip bone there and twist round. And I'm going to reverse the other side, so that comes there. We're twisting. We come back, release. Shoulder turns us. Nose turns us. And we cradle the head. We come back. So, for the pelvis, left leg lengthened, the right leg we circle, change the direction. We either take hold under the knee or the foot, we take the leg out and the opposite arm comes out for balancing. We bend this back, the hands come back and we lift up, possibly. If you don't want to take the pelvis off, keep the lift through the torso. Back down. We then have a fold. We come back, and this bent leg comes on top of the other leg, which also bends. The left hand comes onto the left foot. The right arm extends. We lift up the heart. We either stay here in a bent, twisted boat, or we find some kind of lengthening through the legs. So before we do the other side, we have a movement on our back for the pelvis. When you've arrived, just let the knees come up. And we're taking both legs, lengthening them to one side. Then we bend them through the middle and lengthen them to the other side. And this will tip you onto one side of the hip and then the other. The next time you come down through the middle, Let one leg be bent, one lengthened. We take the hands into fists underneath the lower back. We're going to push the hands, the arms down, tuck the chin in, find our way back up, or the other side. So the left leg this time is bent. We circle the other way. We either support under the knee or under the foot. We lengthen out, we lift the torso, we open the arm. We bend back in, the hands come down, we lift up, we return. We have the half butterfly. Coming out. So the top leg, the left leg bends over the top of the right. The right hand to the right foot. The left arm this time is out. You may or may not lengthen the legs. We lift up through the heart and then find our way out and into our final comfortable sitting position. The spine growing up to the sky and down to the earth simultaneously. We're bringing the hands to C of key, 3 fingers width down from the navel on that midline. Connecting in here, you might feel the breath moving your hands. Then we're bringing prayer hands to yin tang. The thumbs will touch the elbows, reaching back. Release. We're going to have a brush down the neck that spaces the head and the rib cage. We're going to have a brush of the lower back that spaces the rib cage and the pelvis. Then we'll bring the prayer hands to central palace here on the breastbone. We're going to close our eyes, connect into our internal environment, whatever it is we're feeling through the physical sensations, tingles, twitches, itches, weight distribution, the comfy, the less comfy areas, adapting, adjusting. And then bringing your awareness to your outer environment through your skin and how it feels to you. You'll have your personal response to the air around you. And we'll softly open the eyes to bring in the light, the colours, the textures, the shapes around us in the external environment. Thanking you very much for sharing this journey with me today. So you might be staying where you are and exploring or resting. You might be transitioning for something other. A supportive way of transitioning is to access your skin, stroking, brushing. So choosing what's appropriate for you at the moment. And I once again would like to thank you for sharing glorious globes with me.